Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar at PlanHub. Save time and money by increasing efficiency. We're introducing the new Takeoff tool. So without further ado, let me introduce you to who are going to be the speakers today. We have Justin Bell, Director of Product Management. He's the brains behind all the new features that you are seeing in the software and that you will be learning about today. Then Giselle Silva, Product Marketing Manager. I just call her a marketer extraordinaire. And myself, Eduardo Masal, who is also a Product Marketing Manager. So thank you for joining us. As I said, today we will be talking about how to save time and money with more efficient tools, and we will be introducing Takeoff. Before we do that, and to make sure that we are gearing the conversation towards your needs, just wanted to ask you a couple of questions, and you will have an option to answer them in the poll. A little screen is going to show up in the middle of your screen. And if that doesn't show up, don't worry, you can put your answers in the Q&A section anyways. The first one, if you don't mind activating that, Giselle, would be, how many tools do you use to manage pre-construction and bid management?
Okay, we're about to wrap up the poll, and let's go ahead and see exactly the outcome. Here we go.
All right. Seems that between 2 and 3 is like 66% of answers, and almost like 75 if you count 5 or more. So really what we can see is that most of you, as we were expecting, are using 2 or more platforms to manage your construction, pre-construction and bid management. Now, let's go to a second question, which is, how do you put together takeoffs? We did ask this question to a group of subcontractors that use PlanHub, around 400 of them. And we would love to know what's your experience with this. The options are A, manually measure by printing plans. B, using a takeoff tool, a software, meaning digital, standalone tool, meaning that is something separate from whatever other tools you use. C, integrated to your bid management tool, which would be ideal, because you do everything in one place. The other, if you happen to do other things, please let us know in the Q&A, because we want to know for sure how is it that you're doing it.
So far what we're seeing is that over 85% have responded A and B, that they're either manually measuring and printing plans or a digital standalone tool.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What we have previously learned from subcontractors. In our previous survey that was answered by 450 of your colleagues, we saw 52% of respondents still doing takeoffs manually, and another 41% using standalone takeoff tools, which obviously are better than manual, but still, have the problem of integration with the rest of your system. So this gives us a better understanding of how you're doing things, and we can gear our presentation better to your needs. With that, I will pass the baton to Justin. He's going to talk a little more about that.
Hey, thanks, Eduardo. And I'm really excited to hear how many of our participants and people that we've surveyed in the past as well are using manual solutions, because I think we have a really great feature here that can kind of help you guys and girls out. So as everybody knows, it's really difficult to find labor right now. We will have a really tough labor market going into 2023 and probably throughout 2023. So finding people to do takeoffs and to use those measurements you're taking off the plans for your estimating and bidding is going to be tough. And so you want to make sure that those employees are being as productive as possible. And doing things on pen and paper rather than a digital solution is obviously not only going to be a lot more time consuming, but it also tends to be much more error prone. Because again, you can only get so precise and accurate on pen and paper. And plus, you're not just doing this for maybe once or twice a day. You know, companies are getting, you know, hundreds of invitations to bid a month. And so having to manage to that volume of ITBs and to be able to research to say, hey, is this a good project we want to try to bid on, to be able to do a takeoff and get the measurements, to be able to put together estimates and bids. It's a lot of work these estimators have to do, and a lot of work that you guys have to do on your end in order to get a solid, professional, competitive bid to these general contractors within the time frame that they're looking for. And so, and the last piece of a big macro trend that we obviously have been seeing for the last 2 years is the push to remote work, and for people to be able to, you know, sort of work from anywhere, but collaborate as a team. If you're still doing things on pen and paper and having to print everything out, that doesn't really lend itself as much to a collaborative experience. I can't share easily a drawing that I did markups on to another estimator who sits halfway across the country, or my, you know, project manager who sits, you know, not within the same office as I do. So all these things between, you know, increases in productivity, the need to be able to put together precise and accurate, you know, bids, and to be able to collaborate on takeoffs and estimates and bidding activity is really pushing people towards digital solutions. However, within the takeoff space, there are a lot of really great tools and solutions out there. However, they're either just only solve for the problem of being able to take the measurements off the plan, and or they happen to be extremely expensive. And because that they're just extremely over-engineered to begin with, and are often, although again, very feature rich, not what everybody needs in order just to be able to sort of do the basics, especially if you're just moving from a manual solution. So we've been getting a lot of requests over the last few years to say, hey, PlanHub, can you help us with providing a very, you know, simplified, easy to use solution that it's a one-stop shop for me, and I don't have to leave PlanHub to just do that part of the, bidding activity. And so we heard you, and over the last few months, we have been developing our simplified digital takeoff solution, which really helps check the boxes for those who are using hard copy solutions today to be able to easily move over and adopt our new digital solution. And for those of you who are maybe on the fence about using a different digital solution, or if you're currently using one right now and it's way too over-engineered, our solution might be for you, because again, it's very simplified, it's general purpose, and it is something that can, again, get you out the door and to be able to start putting together really timely and accurate estimates and bids. So with that, I'm going to go share my screen and to be able to show what our new solution looks like. So as everyone probably recognizes, this is our project list page, and I'm simply just going to view the first project in here. And I'm going to go down to our project files. And let's just suppose that I am interested in the demolition part of the plan. So I can type in D1 and I can see, right, the D1 section's on the second page. I've already started a takeoff on here, but you would typically see just a button here that allows me to be able to export this to takeoff. So that's what I'm going to do. And I could just select the second page here. But again, we will kind of post all the thumbnails on here to let you easily navigate through. But if you already know which page you're looking for, which I know, I'm already looking for the second page, I can go right here. Now, if I want to also remember where the D1 section is, and for my colleagues when they come into this plan to be able to know where that is, I can simply left click, rename the sheet, and I'm just going to call it D1. So first thing that you're going to do when you come to a brand new set of plans, or I should say even just a brand new drawing, you're going to look at the scale. So right now, if I go to scale, right, I can see on the page, it's telling me, 1/8 equals 1. But right now, when I set this, look at the scale, it's, set to, 1 = 1. So from here, I can easily just find the option for 1/8 = 1, which is right there. Or I have a different option, which allows me to do a calibrated scale where I can measure against a known length. So I'm going to find a place that has a known length. So here's a good spot. You want to choose something that's not too long, not too short. And so I know this is 18 feet, 5 inches, as it says right here. Click set. And I'm going to try to get right on the nose as much as I can. And if I click back into scale, I can see 1/8 = 1, which was the same exact scale that was on the page as well. So again, we provide the both options of just doing a calibrated scale, or you can just do the standard scale and just, look up what writes up the sheet. So I'm going to zoom back out. And again, zooming in and out is real easy. All I do is just simply left click on the page and use the mouse wheel to scroll in and out. And I'm just using my pan to kind of move around. And if I want to do something, I'll go over a real easy example, and I will just simply measure an area. So I'm just going to measure everything on the inside here. I'm just going to follow along the exterior, clicking, and I can click enter when I'm done. And if I made a mistake, I could just go back here to select, click on that corner, and drag it down. I can also add in new points as well. If I wanted to be able to change the shape, I could do that if I really wanted to as well. But if I didn't want to do that, again, I could just simply move that right back. And click enter. And then again, for all of our measurements, you have various properties. So I can change how opaque the fill is. I can also change the fill color as well. Change the border, fill type. Make that a little darker. So again, just aesthetically, we give you some options as well. And then if I want to be able to name this something custom, I can do that as well, just by simply double clicking on it and saying, total floor area. So with that, I'm going to go to another page as well. I'm just going to click over here to the next page down. And I already see a scale on this page that is set. And the little scale icon will be able to tell me that. Again, if you get to a page that's already scaled and you're not sure if it's scaled correctly, something that we tell our users to do a lot is to take this ruler tool. Again, find an area of known measurement. And this one is nice, easy, just 10 feet. And I can see that I'm off there by a little bit as well. So the first thing that you look at is to make sure the scale is set correctly. Last estimator who came in maybe didn't set the cells correctly. So again, instead of doing the calibrated scale, I'll just do the straightforward one here. And if I want to delete this rule and do that again, do that now. Yeah, as you can see here, if I go off with another measurement, I can see that I'm pretty much right on 18 feet 6 inches. And again, if I, just to show you how precise this is, I can kind of move this ruler around. You see how the tiniest bit of as I move the mouse, it is able to actually, change that number. So again, the precision that you can get with this tool is something that we put a lot of time and effort into. Again, just to make sure that we are enabling the really accurate and precise measuring. Just to go over some other features as well. I'm not going to go into all these today, but I'll just do a few just to highlight. If I simply just wanted to count, I got these toilets. Let's just say if I would be doing these bathrooms, again, rename the measurement. And instead of double clicking, you'd also right click on this as well. Gives you options to hide the measurements as well. or if I wanted to show them back up. Also, the little eye icon is there to help with that as well. Again, same thing you can do is change the color. And then if I was also having to rip and replace all the drywall within there, let's just say the wall height for this example is 8 feet. I can go here and just simply start to draw along in here. Click enter once. And again, if you made a mistake or if you wanted to be able to kind of get a little bit more precise and accurate, I can select. I can, again, kind of move these edges around. You see over here, I kind of overextended this portion up here. And if you're noticing this number, the square footage of the wall, the tiniest bit that I'm moving this around, it is changing. Again, just to speak to the precision that we wanted to put into this tool, just to make sure that we're getting as close as possible, you know, for you guys to be able to use this tool. So, and again, I can also see the different properties in here as well. Like, for example, if I read the plan drawing, it wasn't 8 feet, it was 10 feet. I could simply just change that. And you can see the square footage up here. And one last tool I'll go over is, again, just the simple ability to be able to mark these things up. So if I wanted just to write something in like, hey, I want to be able to check, you know, the substitutions for the client to make sure it'd be okay, because I want to put in things that are maybe outside of the spec. And I can also use this kind of free form marker just to be able to kind of highlight, call something out. And that way, if I'm working with, you know, another estimator or manager, they could come into this page. And I'll rename this one A1. And again, they'd be able to see what I've done in terms of markups on this page as well. The other nice thing is that, again, we're just carrying through all of the measurements that you've been doing across all these different pages. And whenever you're done and you want to be able to export this out, we have a very easy summary tool over here. So you can also add in just custom descriptions. So if I just wanted to be able to say, like, you know, drywall with framing, I could just say here for toilets, I could just say these are going to be American standard. And of course, if I messed up here, I could just delete that. And again, just a simple export function out to Excel, where I can see the unit of measure. So again, square footage for, you know, floor area and wall area, and then each for toilets. And then if I wanted to be able to just apply any sort of calculations that I may have for price per square foot, or I know that, you know, all of my studs are, you know, 4 inches apart, and I can be able to know based off the wall measurements, you know, how many studs I'm going to need. In the future, we want to allow you to bring that sort of functionality into PlanHub, but at least for this first version, what we really want to be able to take away for all of our users, that again, they can easily go through a set of plans, manage to these measurements in a way that is very conducive for them, and also that is a collaborative experience. And of course, that all of these measurements are stored against the projects that are in PlanHub, and these can be accessed and are stored in the cloud, secure, and obviously easy to collaborate on with, again, all of your different estimators or stakeholders in your team. So again, with that, I know there's a lot more tools that we could go over as well, between some volume, some moving slope functionality that we have, segments, linear measurements. But I'll kind of stop there for the sake of time as well, because I know we've got also a little bit more to wrap up on the Q&A side. So with that, again, just to kind of call out some of the top features that we heard from users when we were designing and planning on building this. But there is obviously so much more that we want to do in this space as well, especially on the estimating side, and being able to make sure that within one singular journey, you can go from being able to find a project, take a set of plans, within the plans, find the drawing that you need, take the measurements off, estimate off of those drawings in a way that's very customized and conducive to you and your company. Turn that into a bid to send off to one or more general contractors associated to a project, and hopefully allow you guys to be able to, not only put together faster, more accurate bids, but ultimately the goal is to help you guys be able to get awarded more through the PlanHub platform, and for us to be that one-stop shop for all of your pre-construction needs. So Takeoff is a big step in that vision and direction for us. So again, this is a space that we're really excited in starting to take a step in, and we'll be really looking forward to getting feedback from everybody as they start using the tool as to what opportunities do we have to add in more measurements and how do we make that user experience even better. So with that, I'll turn it back to Giselle to facilitate our Q&A session for the rest of the call. And again, really appreciate you guys dialing in today. And of course, really appreciate for those of you who are using PlanHub now, your continued use and support of our platform. So thanks again.
Thanks, Justin, for providing us that walkthrough. It's nice to know that the Takeoff tool is very easy to use, and more importantly, it's also included in the PlanHub bid management platform. All subcontractors of all sizes can access the digital Takeoff tools, which does make it measuring simple and seamless and speedy, which ultimately that is the goal. Let's go ahead and kick off our Q&A. We have a couple of questions here. Let's see. One of the questions that we have is, can subcontractors bring their own plans to PlanHub?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we've heard a lot of early feedback from those who are using our Takeoff solution already to ask, if I have a project that's outside of PlanHub, can I simply just take those plans, bring them in, and to be able to use your measuring tool with that? So with our first version, short answer is no. You have to be able to use them against the projects that are within PlanHub. However, it is our top priority going into the first quarter of next year to be able to provide that functionality where you can actually start a project on your own by simply just giving a brief overview of the project for your sake, hey, what am I naming it? When is the bid due date? And what are the files? And then from there, it would just look like a regular project to you within PlanHub that you can start a Takeoff from. And again, it would only be available to you, not to, everybody within the network. But again, this is an area that we've heard loud and clear from a lot of users, and one of the top things that we're prioritizing.
Perfect. Thank you, Justin. I do want to mention we have a subcontractor named Michael. He says that he loves it and he's really looking forward to trying this out. So thank you so much, Michael, for your feedback. All right, moving along to the next question that we have. Can subcontractors use the Takeoff tool as a standalone?
Yeah, absolutely. This can be a standalone tool. However, one of the big value props that we're bringing with our Takeoff solution is that it's a highly integrated part of the entire PlanHub ecosystem. So from finding a project to viewing the files to being able to submit a bid to a GC, we want Takeoff to be sitting right in the middle of that solution. And again, for you as the user to not be able to have to go out and purchase a separate solution and manage a separate invoice and all that stuff. Instead, this would all just be included in your Premier membership.
Thank you, Justin, for your expertise. And thank you to all the subcontractors that and attendees with us today that have participated and providing questions. Unfortunately, we are nearing that time that we have to wrap up. I do invite you to email us at connect@planhub.com for additional questions. We do motivate you to request a demo to learn more. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Eduardo so we can go ahead and conclude. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Justin, for showing us the new Takeoff. It's very exciting to see how we can save time and money by having a Takeoff software solution that is integrated to a bid management solution. That really is something that we noticed that a lot of our subcontractors have been asking for, and not a lot of subcontractors have access to. So it's very exciting. And Giselle, thank you as well for managing the Q&A. As Giselle said, there were lots of questions. We had over 100 100 participants today in the webinar. So thank you for your support and your desire to learn more about these tools. Please feel free to contact your solutions specialist and learn more about the tool and how to win more bids with PlanHub. With that, we'll be finishing the webinar. Thank you, everybody, for joining us and supporting us. Your feedback is super important for us, so we really value it. We will continue to ask for it if you want to share it. We love to learn from you guys and make the best tool for your needs and your wants. So this is all for today. Thank you.